Coming up on the South Florida High School Football Show, the Champagnat Lions are roaring toward the postseason. Larry Bluestein will take a look at the top linebackers in Dade and Broward County. And we'll preview 3 Titanic matchups, including South Dade and Killian, and Miramar and Cypress Bay. All that and more coming up on the South Florida High School Football Show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the South Florida High School Football Show. Joe Zagacki with Don Bailey Jr. as we come to you from our favorite place. We are in Weston at BurgerFi, and you can't beat the menu here.
I certainly recommend BurgerFi, Joe. If you want to come before the game or after the game or even bring it for during the game, BurgerFi is the place to be, especially if you're in Weston. Let's
salute a couple of teams playing extremely well in high school football. In Broward County, Monarch is having a great season, and down in Dade County, Miami-Dade County, your old part of the woods, Hialeah, one of your old rivals. Hialeah is playing really well.
They certainly are. Coach Berman's got the T-Breads rolling, Joe. They've got a great quarterback who's very active in both the run and the pass, and that's one of the reasons they're successful this year.
Let's stay in Miami-Dade County, a surprise team a year ago. They were 2-9, but the Lions of Champagnat are having a terrific year. They're having one of the all-time best years in the history of the school.
They certainly are, Joe, and it starts with their defense. Their defense is putting a lot of pressure on all the offenses. They've got a couple of shutouts that enables them to grow on offense. They can take some more chances on offense, but they're pursuing the football. They're well coached up defensively, and that's where they're hanging the hat on that side of the ball.
They have a big defensive tackle with a great name, Devontae Valentine, going to the University of Miami, and he says every day is Valentine's Day.
Every day is Valentine's Day for the team that gets Valentine as well. He's a big kid. He moves well. Looks like he's going to be a perfect fit for that 3-technique defensive tackle. Looks like he's got playing time immediately written all over him, and he's one of the reasons that they're having success this season.
In the middle of their start, which was an undefeated start, they went up to play Chaminade, and they did a great job against Chaminade. They sacked the quarterback 7 times.
Well, when you put that much pressure on a quarterback, the game usually turns in your direction. You start taking them out of the game plan. That's the offense when you're putting that much pressure. And when your quarterback gets dinged around that much, he's not real anxious to sit back there in the pocket and wait. He wants to skedaddle out of there and make some throws.
They have 3 shutouts so far this year. They're giving up 4 points a game. And then offensively, they've got a nice quarterback, Cato Nelson. They're scoring 41 points a contest.
What a combination. You're not giving up any points to speak of defensively, and offensively, you're scoring at will. 41-point average at this point of the season. You do the math. That tells you that they're playoff bound.
Champagnat, 2 games remaining. Okay, a big game in Broward County. We'll have more on this game coming up a little bit later on in our show. But 2 teams that are playing really good football and put on a great show this past weekend, Dillard and Hollandale. Let's start with Dillard in 15-6A, really heating up there. They got a nice quarterback in Bud Martin.
Martin's done a nice job. They're an athletic team. They've got speed on the outside. They have enough defense to keep everybody honest. But when you look at Dillard, nothing much changes over the years. They're one of the most athletic, fit teams in Broward County, and that leads to points, and now it's leading to victories.
Bud Martin is the son of a coach, so you like those kind of players. A couple of weeks ago, he threw the ball 60 times.
Well, when you're dealing with a coach's son, it's dinner table conversation when you're coaching them. They've heard everything before. It's been talked about. They understand defense. They understand offense. But more importantly, they understand the philosophy of what you're trying to accomplish.
Dillard had their hands full with Hollandale, but defensively, they've been very good this year.
Yes, normally when you think of Dillard, you think of big play offense, but they've got great speed on defense. Their defensive line has been active enough to allow those linebackers to run free. They've gotten themselves a couple opportunities in the takeaway category as well.
Let's move over to Hollandale. Damian Jones is in his 6th year, and the Chargers are back.
Damian Jones has done a great job of getting Hollandale stabilized. We've been following his career there at Hollandale since he showed up. And each year they get a little bit better. You see a little bit more of his culture taking place, and you see in that program get solidified. And look where he started, and look where he is now.
He is very creative with his offense, and the numbers would support that, since going into the game, he was averaging 50 points a contest.
Well, necessity made him creative early on in his career, and now it's paying off because he's created his own type of offense. And you talk about 41 points from the team we're talking about now. Now you're talking about hanging a half 100 on almost everybody you play. That's an electrifying offense.
He has a nice quarterback as well, Tyler Huntley. You like these numbers. He started the year with 22 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
When you have that ratio, it allows you to build confidence on the entire offense. The quarterback himself thinks that there is not a throw that he can make. And when you're getting touchdowns to that 2 interception ratio, you're not worrying about turnovers at all.
All right, Hollandale still has a couple of big games coming up. They have Stranahan and Boynton Beach still to come. We're at BurgerFi in Weston. We invite you to stop on by and grab a burger. Right now, we're going to grab some highlights from Joe Rose.
Thanks, Joe and Don. Hey, let's get right to some Friday night high school football. Here we go. A big game. St. Thomas and Cypress Bay taking on national TV. A big one. Not a good showing, though, for the Lightning. Already down 14. Lucas Tellefson hit hard. The ball sitting duck for Jake Stewart. The kid has some wheels, goes 83 yards to the house, virtually untouched to the end zone. The Raiders roll 35-0, the final. The full moon was out for an intense game between undefeated Monarch and undefeated Deerfield Beach. Deerfield, a chip shot field goal away from a win as time was winding down in the fourth, but it's blocked, and we'd be going to some overtime. But it was all for naught after Monarch kicked a field goal in OT. Deerfield's Brandon Powell gets outside, dives for the pylon, sneaking a ball across the goal line. Deerfield wins in a thriller, 27-24, the final. We're not done. All right. 7-0 Hallandale hosting Dillard. Second quarter, Dillard's Lee Martin throws a 20-yard touchdown pass to Elijah Johnson. That puts Dillard up by 8. Now 15-0 in the second. Tyler Huntley for Hallandale connects on a 50-yard strike to Chris Cotto. That eventually tied the game up at 15 in the third, but here's the difference maker. Dillard goes on top for good when Martin finds Johnson for the second time. Dillard pulls off the upset 22-15, ending Hallandale's perfect record.
The South Florida High School Football Show is brought to you by the U.S. Army, Tico Peoples Gas, The Chamber, Metro PCS, South Florida Chevy Dealers, Broward Health, BurgerFi in Weston, Vitamin Shop, and 560 QAM.
A few years ago, I decided to push myself further. College, graduate school, degrees in aeronautics and engineering. And I learned that being my best means getting the best from everyone around me. Becoming an Army officer taught me to set high objectives and quickly rise to meet them. Kinda like a rocket.
An Army officer learns to reach new heights and inspires others to do the same. Can you? Find out at goarmy.com/officer.
He's a 20 years straight, get to work on time. He's in love one woman for all his life. Everybody knows he ain't just tough, he's strong.
The all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado. Strong for all the roads ahead.
The recruiting segment is brought to you by Metro PCS, wireless for all.
Welcome back to the South Florida High School Football Show. Joe Zagacki with Don Bailey Jr. coming to you from BurgerFi in Weston. In just a couple of minutes, Don, I'm going to murder a cheeseburger here, and then I'm going to complete it with a concrete, a chocolate vanilla with marshmallow and hot fudge concrete.
Well, that's good, Joe, because I'm going to go the vegetarian route. I'm going to take the veggie burger and then that apple hot dog, apple chicken hot dog. Can you believe that I'm diving in on that every week? Same thing for me, the veggie burger and the apple chicken hot dog.
Oh, you're going for a double header. Sounds pretty good. All right, let's move into our recruiting segment, and one of the most valuable positions on any defense, linebacker, especially the way the game is played today.
It certainly is, Joe. When you're recruiting that position these days, there's a couple things you look for. You want to look for the speed, first of all, because that's irreplaceable. You want the guy that can go sideline to sideline, but also they have to be able to deal with pass coverage. The way that offenses are now in 7-on-7s in high schools, these linebackers have got to be safeties in some respects when it comes to third and long. But more importantly, I would look at the linebacker that can go to defensive ends, the guy guys that grow out of that position. When you can knock them down to put them at a defensive end spot, you're going to have a more athletic, faster twitch guy playing that position than if you just recruited your standard run-of-the-mill defensive end.
I'll tell you what's not run-of-the-mill. My phone right here from Metro PCS, my LG Optimus F3. It is athletic, it is fast, and it is not run-of-the-mill. And on the other end is the fabulous Larry Bluestein with more on the linebackers. Larry?
Well, guys, if you take a look at the linebackers, now in South Florida, always athletic. Look in the NFL, Jonathan Vilma, to give you a quick example. That's a type of athleticism. Now, in this day and age, you have a little bit more specialized linebacker. You have the inside player, and you also have an outside linebacker who drops as well as pass rushers. One of the best outside linebackers, Michael Smith, another University of Miami commitment. This kid comes from Northwestern. All I got to say, guys, is when you take a look at him, this is another guy, puts his hand down. He's just tremendously tough to stop. I don't care who you put on him. Last year as a junior, he created havoc for a very, very, very good team. One of the players that a lot of people are starting to see a little bit more is Frankie Newman. He started his career at Palmetto. He's now at Homestead, a middle type of guy who controls the tempo. He drops back into pass coverage. This is a guy who has an opportunity to make up for some lost time, and this year, a very good Homestead defense will help them do it. And rounding out the great defensive players as far as linebackers in Miami-Dade County is Benny Powell. I've had an opportunity to watch this Jackson linebacker, about 3-4 times. Never ceases to amaze me. Every time you look up, he's around the football. He's that type of player. He's a consistent athlete. He gets to the point where he goes after everything. I mean, he'll drop into pass coverage. He does a lot of good things. Moving into Broward County, Richard Jurgen. Another name, Joe, you should be familiar with. Another Chaminade guy who's transferred over to University School. 6'4", 230 pounds. He's an outside guy. He drops as well as puts his hand down. My prediction is when he gets to Notre Dame, they're going to say, you know what? Forget about dropping. Keep your hand down because you're big enough, you're quick enough, and you're strong enough to do a lot of good things. One of the surprise players from over the last year is Jabari Williams. Here's an inside linebacker who's going to Wake Forest from Fort Lauderdale. I cannot really honestly tell you the last time that Wake Forest had a Division I prospect who committed so early on. This is a guy who's got the smarts, he has football intelligence, and he moves back and forth. Tremendous. This is a guy that I want you to keep an eye on. Jabari Williams comes out of Fort Lauderdale, and he's going to Wake Forest. And the final one, a lot of people will be seeing at the University of Miami. One of the underrated linebackers in Terry McRae. He comes from Blanche Ely. This is a guy that does everything well. He tackles well, he drops into coverage well. That just shows you how athletic and how under the radar some of these guys are, guys. I mean, I can't tell you that in Miami-Dade and Broward County, you have now with the outside linebacker, which we call them hybrid linebackers that go down and up, up and down, and the middle guys that can cover. This is probably one of the best crops we've had from an athletic standpoint.
Here's how you can help Larry Bluestein in his fight against kidney disease. You can send your donation or support to Our Boy Blue Foundation, P.O. Box 3181, Hollandale 33009. In addition, if anyone would test as a living organ donor for Larry or anyone else, please contact Jackson Memorial Hospital at 305-355-5194.
The South Florida Chevy dealers will be recognizing outstanding educators and handing out $4,000 in donations. Help us by nominating a high school teacher for the 2013 South Florida Chevy Dealers High School Teacher of the Year Award. Chevy will award a crystal trophy to one teacher in each county, plus each teacher's school wins a $2,000 general donation. Visit SouthFloridaHighSchoolFootball.com to learn how to nominate a teacher for consideration. We're accepting nominations until January 17th. The winners will be announced February 5th.
Welcome to the Chamber Sports Performance Minute. Brian is going to walk us through today's segment.
Today here at the Chamber, we're going to talk about lower body strength progression. The first one is a split squat, making sure you drive straight down, pushing off your heel, squeezing your glute as you come up. The next progression is into a reverse lunge, keeping your chest up, taking a big step back, barely touching that knee, driving through your front heel, squeezing your glute. The third progression is into a rear foot elevated split squat. Now make sure the top of your laces are on the pad, chest is up, driving that knee straight down, pushing off your heel coming up. After the unilateral movements, we're going to go into a bilateral movement, into a front squat. Hands even on the bar. Drive your elbows forward. Keep them parallel to the floor. Take a normal squat position. Drive through your heels and squeeze your butt as your chest stays high. After a front squat, we're going to turn it into a back squat. Coming under the bar, set it on your upper traps. Get your elbows back, chest up. Nice deep squat, pushing your hips back. Drive through your heels, keep your chest up, and squeeze your glutes.
For more information or to contact us, visit chamberfitness.com.
The South Florida High School Football Show is also on Facebook at SFHSFS. And you can follow us on Twitter at HSFBall and Instagram at SFHSFS. You'll receive weekly updates from our insiders, news, announcements, and game day scoring updates from all over South Florida, plus deals and offers from our partners.
For outdoor projects large or small, avoiding buried utility lines is more than food for thought.
What happened?
Know what's below. You or your contractor should always call 811 before you dig. Utilities will mark your lines for free. Brought to you by Tico People's Gas.
Broward Health is good at keeping muscles and joints in motion and out of pain. So good, they treat some of the nation's top athletes. So good, they've been selected to perform joint replacements on retired players. And so good, they handle more ortho cases and perform more joint replacements than anyone else in Broward. So if you're a senior with joint pain or an injured athlete of any age, trust the team Ryan Tannehill trusts.
Broward Health, powerful medicine.
The Coaches segment is brought to you by BurgerFi and Weston, all natural.
We continue now here on the South Florida High School Football Show. Joe Zagacki with Don Bailey Jr. We're at BurgerFi in Weston. We invite you to come on out here before or after a high school football game or anytime in between for delicious burgers, fries, dessert, hot dogs, you name it. They've got it here at BurgerFi.
And it's as good as it gets, Joe. Trust me.
As good as it gets is at University School. Their head coach, Roger Harriet, he has done a wonderful job.
Roger's done a phenomenal job. He took over the program, and each year you saw improvement in every phase, offense, defense, special teams, but he demands a lot from his players on the playing field and in the classroom. Last year he comes up with that championship that he deserved and earned. He's done a great job with his staff, and they have a lot of quality players as well.
Roger Harriet is standing by with our Chris Chambers. Chris?
We're here with Coach Harriet, coach of University School. Guys coming off a state championship last year. What can we expect this season?
Well, you know, we're extremely proud of the opportunity that we have here. We're going to take it one game at a time. You can expect a state championship type effort week in, week out. We're a classy organization, so we're going to practice sportsmanship, execute it at a high level, and hopefully we'll get back to the state championship for the 2013 season.
Can you talk a little bit about your offensive key players?
Well, you know, they're all key players to me, Chris. You know, starting with our leader at quarterback, Sean White. He's an exceptional person and a phenomenal talent. He's heading over to Auburn, and we have two outstanding running backs, and LaJuan Hunt, who's heading to Air Force, and Jordan Scarlett, who's only a junior, who has a remarkable future. And our receivers are extremely talented. We have Chris Taylor, who's committed to Duke, and Emmanuel Soto, who's committed to Air Force, and then you have Jarius Brown and Sam Bruce, who are doing some exceptional things for us from the slot position. And our offense is led up front by our big brothers, the offensive line, Effie Levy, who's committed to Bryant. He's our center, and our two guards, Zayn Ali and Mike Garizeri, and Chad Kahn, and Michael Gonzalez and Louis Berkowitz do a phenomenal job leading the offensive attack.
Great. Yeah, thanks, Coach. We appreciate you. Good luck this season. There you have it. Coach Harriet of the University School Suns looking to be back-to-back state champions. Back to you guys.
Don't forget to check out SouthFloridaHighSchoolFootball.com, where you'll get recruiting overviews powered by Larry Bluestein, a review of the top 20. We'll preview the top games in Dade and Broward County. We'll catch you up on Shaquille Jackson's blog and game recaps. You can nominate candidates for the Player of the Year and for the High School Teacher of the Year. Catch any of this season's TV shows you may have missed, plus a whole bunch more.
Tico Peoples Gas is awarding the Player of the Year award to one player in Miami-Dade and one player in Broward. To nominate a player, visit SouthFloridaHighSchoolFootball.com. Look for the Tico Vote Here icon. Nominations are open until November 30th. The players take home a beautiful crystal trophy, and the schools that vote the most receive a $500 donation. The winners will be announced during our National Signing Day TV show on February 5th.
We continue with our Broward Health Injury Report, and joining us now is Dr. Frank Walters here at Broward Health. And Dr. Walters, let's talk about the program that you have in place here for all of Broward County.
Sure. Here in Broward County, Broward Health and Broward County Public Schools have teamed up to have an outstanding athletic training outreach program where we collectively provide athletic trainers who are in the schools, 20 of the schools in the county, who are there to take care of the athletes in the event that they're injured.
And the number one concern for parents is that health care for their child.
Absolutely. You want to know that when your child is participating in sport, that not only are they involved in the safe activities, but in the event that they're injured, that there's someone there whose job it is to care for them.
And what are some of the things that you can do throughout this program?
Well, the athletic trainers are there to work with injury prevention, treatment, rehabilitation, and if need be, of course, to triage an injury when it happens, recognize the problems associated with it, and refer them to the appropriate healthcare professional.
All right, very good. Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Frank Walters here at Broward Health.
Hi, I'm Laura Dramegis with this week's U.S. Army All-American Bowl nominees. First up from the University School is Quincy Wilson. He stacks in at 6'2", 198 pounds, and not only has the frame and height to keep up with the bigger wideouts, but also has the speed. Wilson clocked a 4:45 40 time, plays off instinct, and always seems to make the big play, whether it's an interception in the end zone or a QB hurry sack. Considered one of 2014's best defensive players, it's no surprise he's gotten offers from most of the nation's elite programs. Next up is Kyrie Clark, another defensive tackle schools across the nation can't stop talking about. Clark tops the charts at 6'2", 325 pounds, and was ranked as the 7th best athlete in Florida by 24/7 Sports. His size makes him an ideal fit for the school he recently committed to, the University of Florida. Coach Muschamp projects Clark to be their nose tackle, playing in the 3-4, as well as giving him opportunities to rush the edge in a 4-3 setup.
At Metro PCS, we believe in the power of the period. It keeps you from spending too much on wireless.
Unlimited data, talk, and text. $40, period. Everything you want. Even the taxes and fees are rolled right in.
$40, period.
On a nationwide 4G network. No annual contract. $40, period.
That's period power. Everything you want, $40, period. Only at Metro PCS.
He's a 20 years straight, get to work on time. He's loved one woman for all his life. Everybody knows he ain't just tough, he's strong.
The all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado. Strong for all the roads ahead.
We are back on the South Florida High School Football Show. Joe Zagacki with my partner, Don Bailey Jr. Coming up next week, our broadcast game will be Miramar at Cypress Bay. And that is perfect because we're at BurgerFi, which is a short punt away from Cypress Bay. Now, our show here on a Sunday, next Friday, those two are going to play each other. I recommend come on out here to BurgerFi before the game.
I recommend it highly. If you don't come before the game, come after the game and load up on the best food in Weston.
Okay, now let's get to the game. Both Miramar and Cypress Bay are coming off of tough games this past weekend. Cypress had St. Thomas, Miramar had Flanagan. Going to be a tough challenge either way for Cypress Bay.
Both of these coaches are going to have to focus on their teams, on who can recover from last week's ball game. You're talking emotion, you're talking physical contest, you're talking a lot of hitting. Who comes out and is ready to play, and who gets over last week's contest? That's the challenge of coaching.
Cypress would love to be able to run the football and control the clock, but Miramar is much better on defense than they get credit for.
You know, Joe, in the past, if you talked about Miramar, it was offense, offense, offense. Now they've got a defense that is controlling everybody that they play. They've done a phenomenal job of getting that side of the football up to par. What their offense was used to be, that was the main focus. Now, Cypress Bay, they're a run-first team. They live and die by the run. It's going to be a challenge for them in this ball game.
That is our broadcast game on WQAM, Cypress Bay and Miramar. Let's go down south for a rivalry game. South Dade, they are on a mission getting to the playoffs. They've got Killian. That's a big rival game for South Dade.
It's not going to be so easy for South Dade to tip through that. When you talk about dealing with Killian and you talk as big a rivalry as there is in high school football, those teams are going to go at it. It's going to be a tough-fought contest, and may the best man win.
If you are Killian, you can't give up the big play, but that's what South Dade lives with. They are a big play, opportunistic team.
And, Joe, they do it in a quick strike fashion. They have great confidence in the receivers, the quarterback. They have enough running game to produce that big play. But more importantly, when you say big play, it has to be completed. A lot of times there's a lot of opportunities, and they are missed. Not the case with Dade. They are making sure that they complete those passes and get those points.
How do you like these numbers for South Dade? 10 points a game and less than 100 yards per game rushing.
That's what you're looking for in championship football. You've got a defense that's holding people under 2 touchdowns. They're controlling the running game, but they're also producing the points.
We will stay in Miami-Dade County. And again, it's another Friday. And again, it's another pivotal matchup and another game that is pride and guts. This time it's Norland and Booker T.
You would almost say it's an old school rivalry, but it really isn't. But it is definitely a North Dade rivalry. You got Booker T that's been all over the country playing football and have done a fantastic job representing Dade County. You've got Ice Harris, who is one of the best coaches in the county. He's doing a great job. And Coach Heidelberg over at Norland, this is a guy that had championship seasons and has been very, very successful. They're struggling this year, but they can get well quick if they can handle Booker T.
Booker T's been #1 in the country, so they've got a bullseye. They've got the target on them. What's it like to play with the bullseye?
Well, listen, that means that you're going to get the best from every single player on the other side of the football. Everybody realizes that if they can knock off Booker T, it does not matter what their record is on the season. It doesn't matter what happened. If you knock off not only the #1 team, Dade County, but in the country, you put the feather in your hat.
Well, I'll tell you what, here's how good high school football is in Dade and Broward County. And for Norland High School going against Booker T, a big challenge. Norland has the most players in the NFL of any high school in the country.
Well, they could use a few of those guys back to help them. And if they could just get one back for this ball game, it may make a difference. But let's remember, Norland has had a lot of great talent, and you have ebbs and flows when it comes with that talent. At this time right now, they don't have quite the talent that they have in the past, but they'll get it back.
All right, so that's Norland and Booker T. We're at BurgerFi in Weston. We invite you to come on out here for a delicious meal. Our show has come to an end, and you know what that means? Time to hit the counter.
Go ahead, Joe. I'm following you this time.
All right, for Don Bailey Jr., I'm Joe Zagacki. We'll see you next week right here on the South Florida High School Football Show.
The South Florida High School Football Show has been brought to you by the U.S. Army, Tico Peoples Gas, the Chamber, Metro PCS, South Florida Chevy Dealers, Broward Health, BurgerFi in Weston, Vitamin Shop, and 560 QAM.
Hey, listen, man, it's personal, man. Hey, yeah, y'all think y'all got me dead today? I need y'all right here again, bro. Hey, they beat us like they Christian beat us, man. They beat us 48. What it was, 8, 7, just something like that, man. Hey, man. Y'all put up points on these boys' defense, man. Y'all boys play hard, man. Man, every time the ball moves, say it, go, hit him in the mouth, hit him in the mouth, hit him in the mouth. Dominate both sides of the ball and special teams, fellas, man. Y'all boys bring that, man. Let's get ready, man. Let's get it. Hey, dog first, hard work, Brian. Dog first, hard work, Brian. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And no.